Welcome everybody to Go Local Live. It is the Tuesday 4 o'clock edition. I'm Josh Fenton filling in for Kate Nagel. On the fancy networks, they would say on assignment. We just say she's not feeling well, be perfectly honest. All's well here at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. We are so pleased to have a returning genius. I feel like it's Saturday Night Live and it's Tom Hanks. We've got Nick Garrison from Foolproof Brewery. Welcome back.
It's good to be back, Josh. Thanks for having me back on the air.
Do we have to get you a jacket, right? Isn't that they do on Saturday Night Live?
It's
they get
the
you a
5-year club, right?
5 years.
Five times.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
How many are you? 3? Is this your
At
fourth?
least 3. I want to say this is 4. I'd have
This
to look
is
back.
4. You are an all-time high. I mean, other than, you know, speakers of the House and stuff like that,
wow.
politicians, but of just sort of homegrown, cool beer guys, I think you're ahead of Duffy now. So, and you can rub that in his face. Yeah. So you're ahead of him, and all the other guys are trying to catch up with you. You've got a lot going on. First and foremost, congratulations, 6 years.
I know. Thank you. I can't
Cha-ching,
believe it.
cha-ching. Yeah, it's great.
Yes. 6 years, almost to the day, December 7th, 2012. That was when we brewed our very first batch.
Excellent.
Backyard IPA, which I've got
Awesome.
here in the studio today. So.
And then you've got a big fancy dinner, the likes for A-listers. It's kind of an A-lister kind of meal, right?
You know, it's all are welcome. I would say it's, by the way, it's called Barrel Reserve Night.
Right.
This will be our 5th year doing it, and it's really probably the most special event we do at Foolproof every year. And we have a great crowd. It's usually over 100 folks, and tickets are still available, by the way. Foolproofbrewing.com.
Excellent.
Head there now, get them. It's a special night, so you know, A-listers. This is really meant for our near and dear customers, our best customers, because we break out these beers that you can't get any other time,
Nice.
any other place, and hence the name Barrel Reserve. So definitely an event you want to check out.
Absolutely. And Saturday night, where is it?
So it's at the brewery in Pawtucket off Mineral Spring Avenue, or
Right.
241 Grotto Avenue. Can be a little hard to find, so we recommend if you're getting tickets, take a second, visit our website.
And the parking's always on
the
a
parking
busy
is
night.
plentiful,
Yeah.
which is rare for Pawtucket.
Right.
So a unique advantage we have
Right.
at the brewery. But yeah, 7 to 10 o'clock, right at the brewery inside. And
Is it in the new spot in the brewery?
No, so we have our expanded tap room,
Yeah.
and that's where some of the beers are served. But
Yeah.
then the bulk of the event actually takes place in the production area, in the brewery
Great.
itself. And we have a great selection of local food artisans. So it's beer and really nice food, and it's a great value.
Nice.
And of course, at the end of the event, you have this opportunity to buy up some of those delicious beers that, again, you can't get any other time. So
Can you get it on the black market or the dark web? Can you get it on
Maybe.
eBay?
I
Does
try not to,
Sotheby's
deal in that world.
Auction them off every few years?
Maybe.
Right, a chateau, foolproof. And do you get a gift? I'd heard that there was a
Yes, so-
spectacular.
Every year, one fun tradition is we change up the glass, right? So this year we have kind of this fancy, smaller glass. It's
Yep.
almost like a whiskey sniffer. I like to put a little dark beer in there. It helps make the font on the glass pop out a little bit.
Font.
This is the Reverie Russian Imperial Stout, a favorite this time of year.
Nice.
So yeah, this is this year's glass, which is included in the ticket price of $35. And you get basically when you come in, you get a bunch of tokens that can be exchanged for either food, beer to be sampled at the event, or you can use those tokens for take-home beer at the end of the event.
And if I'm thinking about the perfect gift for a loved one,
I think this is it.
maybe not a small child, but for other than a small child, and I'm thinking about the perfect gift of beer
Yes.
for the holidays, because we're in that mode, right? You're trying to, and this, I say this seriously, you're trying to think of what to get a customer, or what
Sure.
to give a friend, or a business associate, or the nice people at the coffee shop next door that you want to give them something. How would they go about getting some cool, foolproof brews that are appropriate for a gift?
Yeah, well, we would always encourage people, first and foremost, go to your favorite liquor store, you know, that carries Foolproof. If it has sort of a craft beer selection, here in Rhode Island, there's a very good chance that they already carry Foolproof. We do also offer beer at the brewery. And I think the perfect Christmas selection right here, this is our brand new 12-pack of Backyard IPA. So you
Nice.
talk about the 12 days of Christmas, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
one beer for each day. I mean, what could be better than that?
Is there anyone who's possibly that has the self-control that could only have one per day?
I don't know.
I don't believe that that's a possibility. Rudolph, even with his nose so red, could not have the discipline to just drink one per day.
Well, you can always restock before the big
Absolutely.
day arrives,
So that's like the perfect gift. What else would you encourage folks to think about? Listen, everybody loves, especially, we just did a gift ideas of Rhode Island stuff, whether it was Ann Hood's new book or a cool Alex and Ani bracelet, or just people love the locally made, crafted, produced types of gifts.
Yes.
What else might they jump out and pick up?
So, I mean, if you're looking for beer, I mean, we've got about 20 options if you come into the brewery, so there's plenty to choose from there. Maybe you're looking for some apparel, a fancy new winter hat, t-shirt, sweatshirt, soap, beer candle, pretty much anything with the Foolproof logo we sell.
Wait. Which of these not like the other? Which of these doesn't belong? I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. So I get it. You guys have these big fancy merchandising meetings with your New York ad agency.
Oh, right, yes.
And who kicks out the idea? We're going to do beer, glasses, let's add on apparel, and then who came up with the idea of soap?
Well, I always love the movie Fight Club, so maybe, I don't know, maybe it's that. No, we actually have a great, talking about local small business partners, Spindrift Soap Company down in Newport. Colby, who's a friend of mine, we've been doing business with him for years. He produces this soap for us. It's made with the beer in it. And no, it doesn't make you smell like beer, if that's a concern. But it's a really great soap. We also have candles. He does chapsticks. So again, pretty much anything you can think of, we put our logo on at some point.
And is this a trade deal between the two of you?
No, no.
I'm going to give you beer, you give me soap.
It's very above board, I assure you.
That's great.
But yeah, long story short, if you come into Foolproof for tasting stores, if you're coming in for the big event on Saturday night, there are plenty of things to choose from. You can get your holiday shopping all taken care of. So
that's great. So let's talk about the business. And you've hit those sort of key milestones as a entrepreneur. You're into 6th year, and now you're thinking about, okay, great, I'm doing pretty well in Rhode Island and New England. I'm looking at geographic expansion. Where else can, when we're on our next road trip, we all go on road trips here at GoLocal on a regular basis. Where should we travel in America in order to be able to stay in close proximity to Foolproof?
So currently, as you pointed out, we're pretty much focused in the New England region, but we are inching our way down the Atlantic seaboard.
Great.
We recently, actually just this past year, entered New Jersey and Delaware, and we're very excited to announce that we'll be entering eastern Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia market.
Nice. Is this the first time this has been uttered?
I think so. You guys got the scoop here.
Nice.
So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. And as I said to you before, I said you got to love the city of brotherly love that once pelted Santa Claus with ice balls at a Eagles game because the Eagles weren't performing.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten over the Super Bowl loss, but hey, if they're gonna drink the beer, then I'll make amends and I'll make the trip down there.
And what's it like? Philly's a big city.
Yes.
It's a couple million people, DMA, and it's no joke down there. It's a New York, it's a Chicago. I think we sometimes forget what a big city is. Much bigger than Boston.
Yes.
And how is it going down there and spreading the word about it and building a customer base?
Well, I think anytime you look at a metropolitan market, which we've been doing for quite some time, because we're in Boston now, and Philly is actually a great fit. So when you look at these metro markets, there's a lot of opportunity, obviously, because of the population size.
Right.
But there's also a very entrenched and a healthy craft beer market locally down there that you're competing against. So I think really what it's about is sort of carving out a niche and kind of emphasizing your brand identity. What can we offer as this Rhode Island craft brewery that maybe will help us stand out a bit. And those are discussions you have with your wholesaler and retailers. But it's going to be fun to see what happens down there in our other markets as well.
Will that be a good test for you in supporting another market? Listen, it's not right down the street. They ran out. We can run down there and drop it off at Bottles over off Wayland Square. You've got to really build some infrastructure and some logistics to be able to support all the way down the eastern seaboard.
Now, a lot of that is handled through the distributor.
Sure.
That's why you partner with them. But for sure, the farther you get out kind of from your home base, there are these challenges that come in, whether it's direct sales support, freshness on the beer, shipping costs, all of these things get factored in.
So we go New Jersey, Delaware, Eastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area. That's all going to hit by the early first quarter of 19. Where do we go? What else happens in 2019 as you guys are planning out your business strategy?
I don't know yet. I'll come back on the show when I have the answer. No, truthfully, I mean, we're always looking at new markets.
Yeah.
We also put a lot of time and energy behind new beers, so this is an exciting time of year. Things slow down a little bit business-wise as the weather drops, but it does allow us to really focus on strategy and sort of these big questions of where do we want to go next, what do we want to brew next, and it can lead to beers like this one right in front of you, Forecast Chapter 5, which is a really fun project we do. It's sort of a rotating beer series. So playing off the word forecast, we know living in New England, in Rhode Island, our weather changes on a daily, sometimes hourly basis. So
literally.
Yes. So much like that, the beer in these cans changes. So the project has been kind of on a hiatus since last January. We're very excited to be releasing Chapter 5 this month. It's what we're calling a New England breakfast ale, and it's going to have maple, vanilla, oats, and some allspice. So it's going to have like a nice red amber color, medium body. So I think it's going to be a great Christmas time brew.
With the expansion of just the number of brewers here in Rhode Island, and it's really remarkable. I mean, you know, the Pawtucket facilities just created a whole new layer of life in Rhode Island from an event standpoint to, you know, the opportunity for entrepreneurs. How do you continue to lead, distinguish yourself, and be, you know, at the forefront of the industry here in Rhode Island?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it is a remarkable time for Rhode Island beer, and it's great for the state, I think, and the brewing scene. So, I mean, for us, we really focus on the things we can control, right? So we just try to put out the best possible beer we can, you know, support our retail partners, support our wholesale partner, come out with unique, creative beers that people are asking for, and also be willing to kind of shake things up every year.
Great.
I think you get in trouble in this industry when you start to rest on your laurels a little bit and get comfortable. I mean, it's funny, this beer Backyard, you know, it's the first beer we ever brewed, and it's still one of our best sellers. It's very near and dear to my heart, but it's amazing to see what our portfolio has grown to since that first day we ever brewed beer. So again, yeah, you really have to just be willing to.
How many SKUs do you have?
Too many. You know, I was counting the other day. If you go into our tap room, we have this big chalkboard up now that lists all the beers. It's pretty much full.
Right.
We're close to 25 now.
That's great.
And on Barrel Reserve Night this Saturday, we'll have an even broader selection. So.
That's great. For big fans, and they can't make Barrel Night, what else is in store? What are the other milestone events early in 19?
Yeah, so we have a series of large-scale events, and then we have some smaller events too. So if you can't come this weekend, next Friday, which would be December 14th, we do our recurring comedy night at the brewery, which is a lot of fun. Live stand-up comics come in, you know, have a beer, listen to some great stand-up. We're going to have a food truck. The Burgundian's going to be there serving waffles.
Nice.
So that's one that comes immediately to mind.
The good thing about drinking while having a comedian is two good things happen. First of all, they're funnier.
Yes.
And then the hecklers are more interactive.
Gotcha.
Right, which is a key component to it all the time. I saw Jay Leno a million years ago down in D.C., and this is before the Tonight Show even, and he was such a great comedian. He'd do 400 or 500 acts a year.
Sure, yeah.
And somebody started heckling him, and he sliced and diced this poor guy up. I think it was at the Lincoln Theater, and just left him in pieces around the theater because he was so experienced in.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so that's one that comes to mind. We do like a recurring beer and cheese pairing. We do beer and yoga sometimes. We've got the Valentine's Day event that we're starting to work on. So there's always something going on.
And all that can be found on your site. You have a great website. One of the best sites of anybody in the food industry in Rhode Island. It's a great resource, and it's always kept up to date. So a big help. This weekend, big expansion, 2019. Congratulations on
Thanks
all the
so much.
success. Nick Garrison, the guru, 6 years in business, growing up and down the East Coast. We always love having him here. We've got to get the jacket fit for him for his 5th appearance here on GoLocal Live. Thanks so much for
Thanks for having
coming
me back on, Josh.
We're going to be right back in a minute talking about Dr. Martin Luther King and an event that's taking place in Providence in January in celebration of Dr. King's life. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds. Welcome back, everybody, to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I am Josh Fenton at GoLocal. This is Miriam Ross. She is putting on a creative event at Temple Emmanuel to celebrate Dr. King's life and the legacy between Temple Emmanuel and Providence, unknown to me, of a long-standing relationship between the temple here in Providence, dating back, we're talking now 40,
40,
years.
50 years.
Yeah,
longer,
to
actually.
Dr. King between the then rabbi at the temple and directly with Dr. King.
That's exactly right. Good afternoon. Our rabbi of blessed memory, Rabbi Eli Bonin, had a personal relationship with Dr. King, and they had much time together. And in 1968, months before Dr. King was assassinated, Rabbi Bonin was the chair, the president of the Conservative Rabbinic Assembly. And they invited Dr. King to be the plenary speaker at that convention. And when he entered the hall, famously, the 1,000 rabbis in attendance serenaded Dr. King with "We Can Overcome" in Hebrew. So we have a very close and dear connection with Dr. King. Because of that relationship, we have a picture of Dr. King with Rabbi Bonin at that convention. And for decades, we have honored that relationship and the life and legacy of Dr. King at Temple Emmanuel.
So this event in January is another element in that celebration and will be dedicated to music, time to the civil rights movement and Dr. King, and you're bringing in maybe the best title any person has ever had in the history of the world, the Prince of Kosher Gospel.
The Prince of Kosher Gospel.
I don't even know how to even match up with a title of the Prince of Kosher Gospel, but tell us a little bit about Joshua Nelson and his role in this event.
Joshua Nelson is a soulful singer, musician, Jewish, born and raised in South Orange, New Jersey, African-American individual who is an incredible performer and singer and musician. He has sung for presidents and prime ministers, appeared on Oprah Winfrey's show, and is very much aligned with Mahalia Jackson and in her genre of gospel music, and is a fabulous performer, and we're really excited to bring him to the community. And the choir, the Singing the Dream, which is the name of the event, chorus, which is composed of singers from all throughout Rhode Island, are going to have an opportunity to actually sing and perform with Mr. Nelson.
And Miriam, who's pulling that together? Because that's really an exciting component to it together, bringing together a diverse group of Rhode Islanders to become a chorus. We're not, you know, some of the African-American churches have some pretty spectacular choruses, but we're not known as a big chorus city like some cities are that have almost competitions and, you know, it's the game, right? It's like the battle of the bands. Talk about who's the one organizing that component of the event.
Well, that would be me.
That would be you.
I am the producer.
I remember you from Drumline. Right.
I'm the producer of Singing the Dream, along with a team from Temple Emmanuel and Central Congregational Church, a group with cantor Brian Mayer, who's the Chazan cantor at Temple Emmanuel, Judy Greenblatt, Judy Jameson, you have to be Judy other than me to be on the committee, and Patrick Aiken, who is also from Central Congregational Church, and Joel Gluck, who is from Temple Sinai, doing Shirenu. Actually, they meet it at Temple Sinai, and that's really the team that does it. But as producer, we are bringing together a chorus of all ages, faiths, men, women, to come together and sing in the name of social justice. And it's really quite something. You know, King, there's a quote from Dr. King from the Berlin Music Festival, where he talks about everyone wants to be happy, everyone wants to clap hands, and that music is a way to bring that all together. And so that's really where we start from in terms of pulling this chorus together.
We're in such a period of time of political division right now, and maybe we've taken a break for a few days with the passing of former President George Herbert Walker Bush, who sort of has reminded all of us of sort of a different way to approach political discourse. And you saw on 60 Minutes multiple former presidents talk about how he connected with them and Bill Clinton, who defeated him, obviously, for the presidency in 1992, was talking about how it became one of his best friends after President Clinton was in office. And talk about what potentially this role of this event could have on Rhode Islanders. I've never seen anything like it as a news organization over the last 8 years. You have political skirmishes right now in East Greenwich and South Kingstown, and they appear to be political, ideological death fights. How can we improve on the dialogue, and how can this event help?
Interesting, way to put it together. Singing the Dream is about bringing diverse groups together. It's about unity.
Right.
And one of the elements that we're bringing into this year's concert or event is a conversation that's been going on with our senior Rabbi Wayne Franklin, with ministers throughout the state, called Merciful Conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And those individuals, Pastor Chantel Williams, Reverend Betsy Aldrich Garland, and Bo Stubblefield-Tave, are coming together in this concert to provide reflections and ideas about what social justice is all about, what tolerance is all about, and to have that conversation throughout the music and togetherness, really, that we will have, that will be brought by the music. So what are we doing about it? In answer to your question, part of this is coming together on common ground and being able to speak a language that everybody can understand and embrace.
That's great. And I think there's a tremendous opportunity to invite some diverse folks from around the state, I think, to be included in this. It's interesting, the Rhode Island Foundation, as you may know, created sort of a charrette of events around the state trying to bring people together. Mm-hmm. I think, social media is blamed for everything, but it's also the opportunity to have conversations with everybody. It's an interesting medium, and think about maybe even broadcasting this thing on Facebook Live.
That's an excellent idea, and by the way, Singing the Dream is a recipient of a very generous grant from the Rhode Island Foundation.
Oh, that's great.
With respect to this, in recognition of the work that is done. There's a lot of work that's done in trying to build bridges and have conversations between and among people of different views and faiths. And we see Singing the Dream as a vehicle, as one of the ways to do that. Communication and how people learn and understand is done in different ways. Some people see it, it's by art, some people by writing. In our way, it's through music.
That's great.
And we touch the tones in that way.
We'll have all the links when this goes live tomorrow as an article on social media and on GoLocal. And that will be how you can get tickets and how you can come.
So the event is on January 27th at 3 p.m. at Temple Emmanuel at 99 Taft Avenue in Providence, Rhode Island. And tickets are available at singingthedream.2019.eventbrite.
Great. And we'll have all those links, and you can just click on them and do it. And I just want to meet the guy who is the Prince of Kosher Gospel. That would be a lifelong dream. It's as good a title and a good acclaim as anybody can ever come up with. Miriam Ross, congratulations on the event and all the work you're doing to bring people together. There's a great celebration of Dr. King's life and legacy. Appreciate you taking the time to come on, and we look forward to helping you promote it over the next few weeks after the new year. And happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah to everyone, and thanks for having us.
That's great. This wraps up today's show. We had beer, we had Dr. King, we had it all on live today. We'll be back tomorrow. Laura Afonso's got what's cooking on in the kitchen and in some of the great recipes, restaurant tours, and cocktails around Rhode Island. And Kate Nagel will be back as well, we hope. If not, you'll be stuck with me. Chelsea will be back on Thursday, and we've got some interesting discussion teed up for Friday. I think Neil's going to be over here, Neil Steinberg from the Rhode Island Foundation, talking about the plight of education in the public education system here in Rhode Island. Yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about it with Saul Kaplan and with Gary Sass, nearly an hour just dedicated to that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you back tomorrow and catch up on updates on GoLocalProv.com all day into the morning. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you so much from here at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Josh Fenton.